Hi everyone, welcome to Viva's Canadian Journey. Thank you so much for watching. Um, if you're watching this video when it just comes out, it's Thanksgiving weekend here in Canada, and as always, I have a lot to be thankful for. One of the things I'm really thankful for is that this year, a couple of weeks ago, marked 5 years for my family and I here in Canada. 5 years. Woo! And I didn't, make so much noise about it. But on my Instagram page, I just put some pictures up, 5 years and counting. And a few of you, said congratulations, thank you. And someone sent me a long email, and it was with some thought-provoking questions. And one of the questions, the way the email went was, Biba, it's been 5 years. What has changed in the 5 years since you came? Usually people will say, what have you learned? But this person was like, what has changed in the 5 years since you came to Canada, since you moved to Nova Scotia? Are there things you wish you could do different? What would you tell yourself 5 years from now? What are the negatives and the positives? So I'm going to be discussing some of the changes that I have seen, my family and I have seen in 5 years in Nova Scotia, particularly, because this is where we live. And some of these changes transcend to Canada as a whole. I'll be talking about the positives, the good, the bad, and I believe that this information is going to help someone watching who wants to come and move to Canada. So let's discuss it, okay? Let's get started. So 5 years, we relocated as permanent residents in September of 2019. Some dates you can't forget. And we came to the province of Nova Scotia. I've said this before several times. We relocated via the federal stream, so we could have gone to any province we wanted. But after some research and, we decided to come here to Nova Scotia. In 5 years, I can tell you, Canada has changed and the province has changed. So the question this person asked was negatives and positives. For me, I would say the number one change, and you can call it negative, is affordability. And affordability in terms of housing. I've talked about this a little bit, but my goodness, Canada, the landscape has changed. One of the reasons we came to Nova Scotia, we chose Nova Scotia, was because of affordability. Affordability in terms of accommodation, in terms of housing. That is no longer the case. In fact, you have people moving from Nova Scotia to other provinces. But honestly, on a more serious note, in terms of housing, if you're coming to Canada, I tell people, people say, oh, Habiba, how much should I budget? I'm like, what I do is I just send links to websites so that people can see the prices themselves. Because, when somebody tells you, you might think, So anytime somebody asks that question, I'll just send the links. But in terms of housing, honestly, the price has gone up. Prices have gone up, in my opinion, up to 100%. I'm not kidding. Apartments, even houses for sale, it is no longer what we saw when we came in 2019, 2020. It's not the same anymore. Okay, so for me, that's one of the negatives, is that the price of housing, has really gone up. And you spend majority, maybe 40, 50, 60% of your salary on housing. So if housing is expensive, that's 60% of your money gone. So if you talk to even Nova Scotians that live here, everybody's concern or complain, when people are complaining about something, is the housing. Now, some people will say taxes. Taxes has always been there. Nova Scotia has always had one of the highest taxes in Canada. But because housing has gone up, the tax now seems like it's a lot. So for me, that's one of the negatives. International students come here and really the housing market is not smiling. That's just the truth. So think about that. And it's not just in Nova Scotia. Yeah, Nova Scotia and some other parts of Canada, terrible. But so something to think about. When they say Canada is multicultural, people usually think only Quebec or Ontario or BC. But even Nova Scotia has caught up right now. It's amazing. The province it's more diverse. 2019, 5 years ago to now, it's more colorful. And I see that as a really good thing. Even in the workplace, where I work full time now, I've been there close to 2 years. And I was discussing with a friend that in the almost 2 years I've been there, the organization, which is a big organization, has the dynamics are changing. The people you're in the elevator and like, oh wow, you bump into Nigerians. Us, we're everywhere. You bump into Nigerians, you bump into other people and you're asking where you're from. So for me, the province has become more diverse. I think it's fantastic. I go to church and every day is looking more and more colorful. You're on the road, you're going for a walk, you're driving. It's diverse. However, what also comes with increased diversity is hate. Okay, and let me explain this. Don't just take this out of context and put me somewhere. Let me explain this. I'll give you an example. There's a platform I follow on, or a page I follow on Facebook. And so when something bad happens in the province, so for instance, a lot of people are now complaining, oh, drivers in Nova Scotia don't know how to drive. See how this person was driving. Someone can come and say in the comment section, is an immigrant. It's because the immigrants are here. That kind of comment. And you hear people make those comments as well. So with diversity, that has also, the hate, has increased. Which obviously hate is negative. Okay, so diversity, good. Personally, I love it. I love seeing people from different countries, different cultures, all bringing their skill set to Canada. But then the downside is hate comes with it. Another change for me that I have really noticed is change in the workforce. Or should I say availability of jobs. When we came in 2019 as permanent residents, we came under the NOC of communications, PR, marketing, which back then in Nova Scotia was an in-demand NOC code. I can tell you, I don't think that NOC code 1123 is still in demand. There's been a shift. Obviously, the shift in the job dynamic is to meet up with the demand in the country, the demand in the province. So now there are more jobs available in the construction sector. Everywhere you go to in Nova Scotia now, there's one building coming up. So the construction industry, skilled trade, is really growing because obviously the province is also growing. The healthcare industry is big now. Majority of jobs available now are in the healthcare industry. When we first came, it was, like I said, our NOC, marketing communications, the banking industry, but now construction, building, plumbing, skilled trades, really big. So there's been that shift, which is also good for people that have that skill. Okay. A change that has really happened that comes with population growth is there's now traffic in Nova Scotia. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but to people living here, it can be a nightmare. Like I said, everywhere you go, construction works, downtown Halifax, oh my goodness, or you're trying to get to Bedford, construction. So the traffic is crazy. I did a video a couple of years ago, and I said one of the reasons we moved here was, quality of life. We didn't want a place, compared to like Lagos, where there's a lot of traffic. Now, don't get me wrong, the traffic is not as crazy as Lagos, but it's building up because the province is growing. So it comes with that. However, with, the growth of anything, pros and cons. Okay, so that's some of the changes that we've noticed. Personally, I've noticed. Some of them are good, some of them not so good. The next question the person asked was, what advice would I have given myself 5 years ago with what I know now? Honestly, I don't think we would have done anything different. What's happening in Nova Scotia and Canada I think is happening worldwide. Nobody foresaw the pandemic. Nobody foresaw things that were going to happen. Would we have gone to a different province? I don't know. I don't think so. For now, we're in Nova Scotia. Yes, it's changing. Yes, it's, but my advice for people who want to come to Canada is save as much as you can. When people here tell you things are expensive, housing, it is true. It is true. So save as much as you can. Do your research. If there's a cheaper province, go to that cheaper province. Except you have family here or people that, that would be mine. But 5 years and counting, this is where we call home now. By God's grace, no regrets. Yes, Canada has changed. Yes, I wish that some of the negatives were not in play. Housing wasn't that expensive. Inflation, grocery prices has also gone up everywhere as well. But so far, so good. The last question the person asked was, are we thinking of moving or relocating? Watch this space. That's all I can say. For now, we're happy here. Thank you so much for watching. I know this was really light, but I hope you've enjoyed it. Until next time, take care.